Hollywood and the four corners of the world. You asked for it. Starring Rich Little. Here's the star of You Asked For It, Rich Little.
Thank you, and welcome to the only show on television that brings you the world into your living room just because you asked for it. Tonight, karate from a wheelchair, a traffic cop who dances on the beat, a man who hammered his way out of the 20th century, and much more. First, daring tots on water skis. We're going to Tampa, Florida to see the youngest water skiers in the country do tricks that are beyond most adults. Jack Smith describes the action because Amy Bursell of Minneapolis, Minnesota, you asked for it.
Look at him go, Rich. This is the oldest of the McCormick sons, Jimmy, showing us the form that's earned him the reputation for being one of the best junior water skiers in the entire world. Jimmy is 11 years old. And here's Michael taking a jump at 20 miles per hour. Michael is 7 years old. And even if you've never water skied before, you have to appreciate that Patrick has just turned 6. Last but not least is Daniel, the baby. He's just 3 years old and he can't even swim yet. I guess that's one way to encourage staying on your feet. Ah, rescued. No less amazing than their children are the boys' parents, Jim and Myra McCormick. After illustrious water skiing careers of their own, they decided to pass their considerable talents and experience on to their children. And as you can see, they've done quite a job.
To become a really great skier, you have to start young these days. At 6 months, we have them in the bathtub, swimming, ducking their head. And we began pulling behind the boat at 12 months and then free skiing at 18 months. I know they have the ability to become great skiers. It's a question of do they have the internal motivation.
The McCormick boys already have the aggressiveness and desire needed to reach world-class skiing. Jimmy has won the Junior Florida State and Regional Championships for the past 3 years, and he was the youngest competitor to place in the Junior Nationals. Michael is so promising that Cypress Gardens gave him their special award for excellence in their International Open meet. And little Patrick was the youngest skier to ever qualify for adult competition. In fact, the boys are so successful in competition that their parents have had to add a special section to their living room to store all their trophies. The boys have many water skiing firsts. Patrick was the youngest person to ever ski barefoot when he was only 4. If this sport looks easy, it's only because these guys make it look that way. But even budding champions bite the surf. The McCormick boys are such fine skiers that it's easy to forget how young they still are. We wanted to get a nice shot of them just skiing together. However, boys will be boys. Oops, there goes Patrick. From that smile, I guess he's used to this. Michael tries to escape, but Jimmy gives chase. There really aren't many places to hide on the high seas. Well, it looks like Jimmy is king of the hill, at least for now. Thank you, Amy Bursell, for requesting a look at the magnificent McCormicks. It's been our pleasure to see this talented family because you asked for it.
They say that the youngest McCormick kid, Patrick, could water ski before he could walk, which is great. Except if that's true, when he went to bed at night, how did he get his socks off? Very careful. Coming up next, the Fred Astaire of the fast lane, a cop who dances on the beat. We will be back.
And now back to Rich Little.
Now, here's the secret of how to get the most out of your job. There's nothing tougher than being a big city traffic cop. But this man has found a way to do it in style. Donald Thomas always dances right on the beat. And Leah Erickson tells us about this Fred Astaire of the fast lane. Rita Miranda of New Bedford, Massachusetts, you asked for it.
In the bustling summer resort village of Provincetown, Officer Donald Thomas draws as many crowds as the boutiques and beaches.
From what I'm told, I'm dancing out there. I go back and forth and I move around. I mean, I can't explain it.
He's real good with the traffic. He's a showman, but he's got to be the best I've ever seen with traffic. Just keeps the people moving. He keeps everybody aware, you know. It's real good.
Some of the usual things are bicycles going the wrong way, roller skates, mopeds, carriages, whole works, whole ball of wax.
We think he's great. He's quite an artist. He really moves the traffic along, and he looks like he's really enjoying his job.
Surprisingly, Don says he doesn't know when or how he became a dancing cop.
They call it dancing. Me, I call it work. I'm dodging cars so I won't get hit.
Don's fancy footwork wears out a pair of shoes every 4 weeks and 2 shirts a day. But this is one cop for whom it's all worthwhile.
I love traffic. I love it. I see a lot of smiles in the cars. Something you don't see too often around here when there's a lot of traffic. I just try to do my job, that's all. Sometimes they break out in applause and I just don't understand it all.
Well, maybe you know the answer. Rita Miranda of New Bedford, Massachusetts. You certainly knew the question because you asked for it.
Oh, this is Dean Martin. Yeah, you know, that cop is mean. Yeah, the other morning he gave me a ticket. He not only gave me a ticket, yeah, he stepped on my fingers while I was signing it. Well, now let's go to Jack Smith. Take it away, Jack.
Thank you, Rich. Back in 1957, You Asked For It filmed one of the most incredible acts I've ever seen. Hans Schumann and Carl Schneider perfected a routine that seems impossible, but it's true. They were able to do a headstand on 3 balls. Now, how did they do it? Let's take a look and see.
And that, my friends, is a grummet, spelled G-R-U... Well, never mind. Hans will be happy to show you what it's for. He loves his work. A conventional headstand just for a warm-up. All Hans has to do is to get Carl up there. Which he does. Head to head on the grummet. Look, Hans. No hands. You're sinking, Hans. The load too much for you? He'll show us. Back up just as slowly to a standing position. Nothing to it. You say you've seen all that before. You're not satisfied. Okay, forget the grummet. They'll put their heads together and do it again. Scalp to scalp this time. One good way to get a flat head. Headstand on the foot coming up, an Erickson specialty. There. Now, do you think that's easy? Well, try it sometime, but this way. A gentle toss. One foot to the other. Now, you can see that Hans is proud of this invention. He calls it a head hoop or something. Just to complicate things, Carl's wife brings him a beach ball. Held between the feet. Now this restricts the movements, makes balancing much more difficult. Hans gets a ball, too. And 2 rings for each of them. She doesn't play favorites. Not bad, huh? Now, surely you don't expect them to do a headstand on 3 balls. That's asking too much. But they've got it figured. Just build a fence around them. Another Erickson first. You're gonna love this. Fence is off, a free balance head-to-head stand with 3 balls between.
Now, there's a couple of guys who spent years learning their craft.
Right, Rich, and they had a ball doing it.
That's for sure. We'll be right back with a story of a man who hammered his way right out of the 20th century.
And now, back to Rich Little.
Ever wish you could get away from it all? Well, this man hammered his way out of a job in a nuclear plant, and now he's a blacksmith. Blacksmiths are a vanishing breed, but he doesn't care. He found something he likes to do. Our Dale Haramoto tells us about it. Brenda Burns of Waltham, Massachusetts, you asked for it.
Working hot iron with hammer and tongs was commonplace in the 19th century. Every village had its blacksmith. Today, there are only 75 master blacksmiths left in the entire world. Charlie Fuller is one of the 75. Charlie Fuller does not think of himself as a 19th century man. He thinks of himself as a 21st century man, working with 19th century tools. Forge and blower, hammer and tongs. Working with his hands to create masterpieces of the art, whether it's a fence, a barn door hinge, a door knocker, a weather vane, anything that can be made of hand-forged iron.
People look at steel as being something very hard, very cold to work with. And I don't like to look at it like this. I like to look at steel as being my clay. But once we put it into the fire and we apply a temperature to it, and in this case, with this steel, we'll get up around 2,000 degrees with it, we can bend this, we can shape it, form it, put it in any shape we'd like to have it in. The only difference, we've got to keep it hot. We can't hold on to it with our hands and our fingers. We have to use tools that we call tongs to hold on to it with.
Charlie wasn't always a blacksmith. 5 years ago, he gave up a job as a mechanical maintenance supervisor at a nuclear power plant in Florida. A talk with a blacksmith in Tennessee changed his life. He spent 2 years clearing up his debts. Financially free at last, he quit his job and went to blacksmith school in New Hampshire.
I think it's one of the best things I've ever done. We're much happier now. We're doing the things that we want to do. We have a little home out in the mountains here, about 10 miles from where my blacksmith shop is. The only regret I have is I didn't do this sooner.
Charlie is impressive to watch. As you can see, when he hits the red-hot metal, sparks begin to fly, and the metals begin to take shape. At the age of 38, Charlie Fuller has a 19th century trade, and he lives by 19th century values. An unusual man in an unusual job. And you saw it, Brenda Burns, because you asked for it.
How about that? Now I know what Santa Claus does on the off-season.
This is Gary Cooper. When I walked out on that dusty street in high noon, that was a challenge I couldn't refuse. Well, this show is a lot like me. I want to be challenged to do the impossible at high noon or any other time. Try us. Just write to You Asked For It, P.O. Box 1980, Hollywood, California, 90028.
If you thought someone in a wheelchair was easy prey, think again. Jim Garrett is a third-degree black belt in karate and the only instructor in America who teaches handicapped people to defend themselves. Our Matty Majors tells us more about this special man and his special students because Mrs. Denise Kolisic of Newton, New Jersey, you asked for it.
This student, Terry Lane, is mentally handicapped as a result of brainstem damage in childhood. Now, this disability has caused him to progress more slowly than the so-called normal students, but his determination has paid off in his mastery of the martial arts up to the yellow belt level.
Jim's been teaching and studying karate for about 15 years, but about 10 years ago, after his mother suffered a very severe stroke, he began to focus his attention on how martial arts skills could be adapted to meet the needs of the handicapped.
The wheelchair becomes an extension of yourself. And with proper training, they can move and turn just as quickly as anyone on a strong pair of legs can.
This is Jim Struck, who served in the Korean War and is also a paraplegic. He's a student at one of Jim Garrett's hospital classes.
Back fist. Inner block, palm strike, good.
The students learn 6 forms of blocks and punches. Surprise is the key factor in the martial arts.
Good, block and then good.
Gordon Minster, a Vietnam veteran, is one of Jim's best students, and he helps him set up demonstrations at rehabilitation hospitals throughout Chicago.
I feel more secure now with this self-defense. I think I can handle myself with practically any human being.
One of the main things about teaching handicapped or disabled martial arts is their genuine, deep-rooted enthusiasm.
Jim is one of the few people teaching martial arts to the handicapped, but he's hoping that this short visit will encourage others to join him. Perhaps it will, because Mrs. Denise Kolesic, you asked for it.
None of Jim's students will ever become a future Bruce Lee, but that's not important. He's teaching them how to become confident, capable human beings. To Jim, can't is a dirty word. Of all his fights, this is the one most worth winning.
Rich Little will return with more of You Asked For It right after this. And now back to Rich Little.
That's our show for tonight. See you next time on You Asked For It. Good night, everybody.
This is John Harlan speaking. You Asked For It is a Sandy Frank production.